Hey everybody, I hope you all had a great weekend. Oh, mine was pretty nice. It was my sister's birthday, so we mostly spent time with her and went and I don't know, just did random stuff and had a good time. So, um yeah, but I don't want to do small talk too much because I'm already running a bit late because I had to run some errands this morning, so let's jump right into it. First, what I want to do is Ludum Dare is this weekend, and I'd like to enter it. Hopefully I'll be able to. And it's basically a game design competition where everybody gets a certain theme at when it starts on Friday night, and then you have 48 hours to make a game from scratch. Basically, you can use like Unity and other pre-made scripts, but you can't use art or sound or anything like that you've already created before. So it's pretty fun, and I have um, I think I've done 4 or 5 of them. I actually haven't done it in about a year just because I kind of got burnt out on them, but I've been feeling like working on smaller games again, so I'm planning to do it this weekend and I'll stream it. But and the week before, everybody starts voting on the theme, and basically they give you a bunch of themes and you can kind of just pick one, or you can either up or down vote it. And you can usually kind of tell after you've done it a few times what themes people are going to pick. Like things like this people seem to like. And so it's kind of open-ended. It's hard to explain. Or like you are the weapon, I think people would like. But tend to like things more like floating islands, where it's like more a theme and not like restriction on the mechanics, but most of the people that enter the competition seem to like these things. Oh yeah, that's only one light source I could see. But yeah, so I'm gonna just basically go based on what I would want to do. That one could be kind of fun. Learn from your enemies. I could see. Yeah, that's fine. A light in the dark. That seems a bit too restrictive. Because I also, once you enter in the competition, you're supposed to rate a bunch of people's games. And I don't really want to play a bunch of survival games that is all dark with a flashlight, which I'm sure will be pretty popular. Yeah, Floating Islands is definitely my favorite here. That one could be interesting, but I don't really... It seems really abstract. Environment changes you. Not feeling it. Same level, different challenges. That one's okay. It spreads. Not feeling it. This one could be kind of interesting. It would help, I think, encourage good game design, because like as you go farther, the levels should be harder, and so this will like nail that into people's heads. So maybe I'll upvote that one. Yeah, and this one doesn't seem interesting to me. This one is in every competition. I think it's actually been the theme twice, so I like that one. That's okay. That one's okay. An indirect player control. I don't like this one because again it constricts the mechanics, so or restricts the mechanics, I should say. Okay, so there we go. Those are my votes for theme 1. But now let's get to the actual programming. First I'm gonna hide the UI layer again. Okay, so it's been almost a week since I've worked on this game, so I need to try and refresh my memory on where I was. Okay, so pebbles are spawning, but they're in the wrong spot. They're too low. Hopefully I wrote some good notes. Yeah, I was working on randomness. Oh, and then I was like trying to get rotations. That's right. Yeah, I had to change the way rotations worked because I wanted to get like full 3D rotations supported, and so then I was trying to figure out how like map facings would work. Okay, so I guess the thing is I need to test the player movement. Then I gotta get those rocks to be back on top of the blocks. Okay, yeah, so the rotation is a little strange right now. It doesn't seem to really match up. Although that one was fine. Okay, so I wonder what the pattern is here. What about going that way? Okay, maybe it's... Is it backwards? I think, so Unity goes clockwise, but at the... Yeah, before I used to have the Lua space go counterclockwise, but since the modding tools are going to be in Unity anyway, I think I should just have them all be equal. So I wonder if I've missed negative at some point. Maybe here. This get facing is wrong. Or no, that wouldn't be right. It would be the part where we transform a facing into an angle. Well, this could... Yeah, this could have a lot of issues in the rest of the game. So I think it's this negative. I'm kind of scared to change it, but I need to get the units all consistent. Well, I guess first let's see what actually uses this function. The monster model creator, that's fine. Okay, nothing uses that. Okay, so I guess it's not used as much as I thought. Okay, I think it's this one that's used all the time, but this one already winds clockwise because the first angle is north and then goes northeast. So is this actually wrong? Maybe we'll do some testing. Okay, so let's open up framework functions, and then here on this on new turn, we'll just print out the angles for a bunch of facings and see what works or what the pattern is. So I want to call rotation utilities, create facing, and then we'll just start from northeast and go... Well, actually, I'll start from east because that's what the models start at. Do I want to keep it like that too, or do I want to have straight up be 0? I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, that's just kind of arbitrary. For models, 0 can be east. Because I know that a lot of things that use the corners, yeah, 0 is north. But it'd be a lot easier for models if 0 is east. So I think, yeah, for models, we'll just use this. And that should, I don't think that will cause any issues. Although it will make me have to change some of the units around. Let me see. I guess we could just have the models face north. And that's 0, even though that's not necessarily a neighbor. Maybe that's the best way to do it. Okay, so I guess this is a time to try and figure it out before I get too many models. Yeah, so north and then clockwise, I guess. Yeah, since we're already not using the mathematical rotation, which goes counterclockwise from the x-axis, I think it's fine if we start on the y-axis and go clockwise, so that's the way Unity would handle it anyway, so. Alright, so what I need to do is change egg dino prefab right here so that it faces due north at 0. So I just need to switch or rotate this. Okay, well that's actually easy, so 0, it's good. And now I think I'll need to rebuild the asset bundles for that, so I guess I'll go ahead while I'm working on the scripts. And the asset bundle is really just a bunch of different assets that Unity bundles together in one file, and that's how we load stuff through the mod system. Okay, so I think this is already set up so that 0 is north. I guess we can figure that out. So let's see. So cosine of 0 is 0. So at, yeah, north, that'd be fine. Well, what's this neighbor angle? Okay, so actually this was set up so that east gives angle 0. Okay, so maybe I could leave it how it is, because this is already set up so that east gives angle 0. Okay, yeah, so I guess I didn't think this through. It's not actually doing anything. I think I like it so that east gives 0 is 0, so we'll leave it like that. Just rotation 90. Okay, so now I don't need to change anything. Okay, so this would be at east, which is actually 1. Okay, so that's why we... Okay, so it's 60 times 1 for east, so that'd be 60 minus 90, which is negative 30 plus 30, so that's, yeah, 0. And it transforms it... Oh, from degrees to radians. Okay, that's right. And then from there, cosine of 0 is 0, and then cosine of, our sine of 0 is 1, so it's negative 1. Is that right? Wait, did I get... Maybe I have the Takes me a bit to get trigonometry into my head. Oh, I'm trying to remember that calculator website. Wolfram or something. I guess I don't need that. I can use the built-in Windows calculator. Okay, so we have 0 and sine of 0 is... Okay, so I did have it wrong. I had them flipped, of course. So yes, cosine of 0 is 1, and then sine of 0 is 0. Okay, so it would go... And then it goes clockwise, so as you increase the angle, sine would go negative. So I think that's right. So if the math is right, then do I flip the angle here or something? No. Okay, well, let's just print this out. So print rotation utility get facing east dot angle. Oh, if I can spell that right. And this double dot is just the string join operator in Lua. Okay, so that should return 0. Let's test it out. I make sure I have the syntax correct and everything. Oh, I don't want maximize on play, but oh, so there was an error. Attempt to index a nil value. Probably it's not rotation util, it's something else. Okay, I just missed the S. Oh, it's gonna return a rotation 3D, which is right, but I don't think it has a 2-string. Get facing. Okay, did I? Guess I spelled that wrong too. I'm gonna turn off that. Oh, create facing. Okay, and this will return an angle 3D. Probably, so how do I want to print that? Maybe Euler angles would be the best way. Because I think the quaternion 2-string will return like the quaternion numbers, which are hard to understand. Why doesn't it like that? Okay, so it just does want me to use the property. Yeah, quaternion has a lot of obsolete functions, so you have to kind of be careful. Return string format. Okay. I'm trying to remember. I want to have a number with 2 decimal places. I think it's just n2. I always forget these. Okay, and then these will tell you the rotation around the X, Y, and Z axes. I guess let's just try this. I have a feeling I'm going to get a format exception because it doesn't like the in prefix, but we'll see. Okay, no. Um, Trying to find the blueprint. It's choice. Okay, east 0. Oh, well, you know what? That's right, because I think the facing angle still returns. Yeah, this is probably. Yeah, returns just the angle around the y-axis. So I probably should make this more explicit. What did I call it in the rotation utilities? Because I had the same thing. Okay, just rotation flat. I guess we don't really need to even have this function. I guess I should see if it's used anywhere before I go renaming it. Okay, it is used. Oh, it's used right here. Okay, well, I can just take this out. Yeah, I think that I want to discourage the script authors from using this, yeah, from using just float angles as much as possible, and instead uses this rotation 3D. Okay, let's try that again. So now the angle doesn't exist anymore, so I need to change this to rotation. And if I want to get, like, I still could get the angle around Y, but now it's much easier to understand, so I could just have something like that if I wanted. Guess I could go ahead and have functions for that. So we would just return quaternion angle. Oh, I could do Euler angles. It doesn't it have another function? Set axis angle. Oh, that doesn't work. I was gonna say I've never seen that before. Two angle axis. Okay, I see. I thought I had a way to get like the rotation around a specific axis. Maybe it's this. Let's see. Let me look that up in Unity real quick. Okay, so converts a rotation to angle axis representation. Okay, so it gives, oh, I see. So it gives the rotation and then gives you the, or it gives you the axis and the angle for the specific rotation. That's kind of useful, but I want to convert this, like define the rotation around a certain axis. Maybe that doesn't make sense. So I can't just use the Euler, I guess. Although, again, this would just allow mod authors to get this float. Yeah, so I think that's probably not a good idea. But just for testing, I think we can use that, and then just the second thing is what we'd want to look at because this is around the y-axis. Yeah, working with rotations in 3D space is much more complicated than 2D, if you can't tell. Oh, I forgot to update the script to get rid of that. Attempt to concatenate a user data value. Oh, I thought it would call toString for me, but I guess not. So I just need to manually call toString here, and in Lua, you use this toString function. I guess I could call toString at the end of rotation, but that's not the Lua way. Okay, so finally no error. Okay, so it's in 0, 0, 0. Oh, I guess that's right because east is 0. Okay, so I was gonna say, well, first I was surprised that my format worked right away. And second, I was surprised that it was all zeros because I thought something had gone wrong, but that is actually exactly what I want to happen. Okay, so let's try the other angles and just make sure these match up with what we want. So, south, east. I know I could do this better using a string or an array, but northwest and oh yeah, northeast. I was gonna say, did I skip one? Okay, so it should go around in 60 degrees each time, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so 0, 60, 120, 180, 240, 300. Is that... Shouldn't this be negative though because it's clockwise? I think that's the issue I'm running into. Or is that... Am I thinking about it the wrong way? Okay, so... We'll test it out with this. Obviously it's facing correctly here, so something goes wrong in the animation system, I guess. Okay, so it's negative 60 here, but it's printing out as 60 here. So at 0, it should face that way. Oh, well, negative 60 is the same thing as 300. I think that's the reason why it was like that. So 60 is southeast, and then 120 and 180. Okay. Oh, I said 189. I was gonna say, how come that doesn't line up? And then 240 is northwest. Okay, so that is correct. Well, okay. The reason that I was thinking that's just weird is because in Unity, again, the positive angles go clockwise, where mathematically usually positive angles go counterclockwise. So this is actually right. And since I'm using Unity's quaternions, that's why it works out correctly. Okay, so I guess that is not the issue, but something is obviously wrong. Oops. If I just move them straight ahead. Yeah, he rotates around too far. If I move him straight again, what happens? Yeah, and it doesn't correct the facing either. I guess I could see which direction they're supposed to be facing right now. I can see that from the debug. Okay, they're both supposed to be... Oh, that's the issue. The facing is wrong. They're both east, but they actually should be facing southeast. So maybe it's not the rotation, it's that the facing is getting messed up. Let me see. So this one now, since I'm moving northwest, should be facing northwest at the end, and this is monster 0. And then this one should be facing southeast. But he's facing just east, and this one is facing west. Okay, so what is the function that is handling that? Okay, well this is all correct, so I don't really need to keep it around, but just in case. Okay, so it says final facing, look at facing, which I guess is the thing that's wrong. Yeah, because this final facing is set as the monster's facing right here. Yeah, the rotation is actually matching up fine, it's just something is wrong with this function. So here, so get facing towards neighbor. So I guess something is wrong with this function. And this is the only place it's used. Okay, so facing towards angle. So I wonder if this function is wrong. Let's actually use the rotation utilities at look at rotation, and I think this is right because maybe not. I need to try to think of a good way to test this out. Let's see. So if at is say 0, 0 and target is 1, 0, that means it's facing due east. So this should give us... Okay, again, we'll pretend this is 0, 0 and then this is 0, 1. Then this would give us 0, 1, yeah. And then, so the Atan 2 would be 1 over 0, which I'm not... Well, it should give 0, so that shouldn't be the issue. So I guess, let's see. How do I want to... I need to have a little script to test this out. Trying to think of a good place to insert it. Something temporary. I guess I can do it right in the beginning, even before we load into the lobby. Okay. So, let's want to debug. Log. Let's actually try to do this a little better. So for int I equals 0, I less than 6. And then ring. Oops, I forgot the dot. This will be the facing, and then this will be the angle that it gives us. So hex. Okay, we don't have the namespace for this, and let's go ahead and add it because this function is, or this whole class is temporary. So we want to convert the I to a neighbor. And then the next one is just hex position, get What is that function I was just looking at? Okay, facing towards angle. I want to make sure this function works first. And so yeah, we can always just start at, don't have 0, 0, so start there and then position axis vectors. And the axis vectors just give us the direction towards this neighbor, so this is exactly what we need. Oh, I'm missing the square bracket to close the array. Oh, and it needs the board metrics. Okay, so this function can't do this because we don't have the board metrics yet. Let's see. Let's do it. I guess the very first time that we have that is in the loading phase. I can find it. Okay, at this point, this is where we build the metrics out, so. Okay, and then I'll just throw some bogus things so we don't have to wade through a ton of. Oh, I don't want to do it there though. A ton of other debug logs to find this one. Okay, so northeast, it says 0, which is wrong. 0, 0, 0, and then negative pi. Okay, so something is obviously wrong. Let me see. Is it the Atan 2 or this 2 Cartesian? This used to work unless something weird happened with a unit. Oh, has this been set up at that point? Yeah. Okay, so northeast is 1 row up. Okay, so this is fine. So, that's strange because if you face east, it's 0. If you face west, it's negative pi. So it just goes from being 0 to, or from the angle being due east to due west. It disregards the y. Oh, actually, I think I know exactly why this is happening. Let me see. So, it's because I converted from using y as the, let's see, I guess the vertical direction on the terrain to using z as the vertical direction on the terrain. And that's just because I want to match Unity's units. So I should actually go through and see any time that I use a vector 2 because that is going to be wrong now. So this should be a vector 3 and then I need to use the z coordinate here. Okay, so that might be the only place. I already updated those, I think. Yeah, so Okay, yeah, that was the only issue. That makes sense now because the Y was always 0 before, because that's altitude now and not vertical on the terrain. I need to think of better ways to say that. Okay, so now, yeah, east is 0. Then, yeah, of course it's in radians, but it looks good. So I guess let's see if that fixes the weird rotation issue. If it doesn't, then we can test some more. There's other things that could be wrong. Okay, so first I'll just have them move straight because that didn't work before. Okay, there we go. That's much better. Okay. I guess, yeah, there's one other thing I should test. It's hard to tell, but I should see... I think I'll need to just debug this, but I need to make sure that... let me see. This function... right here, this is rotation clockwise works. So I think what I'll do is I'll just print it out. Okay, and so I'll just need to watch each of the rotations and try and see if they match up. Okay, so I'm gonna try and get the angle or the camera as close to being directly on the y-axis as possible. Oh, yeah, I have to do this one first. So this rotation should be clockwise. This rotation should be counterclockwise, so that's what it should say. False and then true. Okay, so let's look, try and find it in the debug log. Okay, sort. Okay, false, and that was this one, so that's right. And then true. Okay, so it looks like it does work. Now let's see, there's one other issue. If you turn 180, Unity always does that, handles that as a clockwise, but in math it could go either way, so I want to see. That time it actually went, that one went counterclockwise. See if I can find it again. Stat speed, yeah, it's doing the player sort. Okay, so false, yeah, because that one did go counterclockwise, and then this one actually went clockwise, so I guess that works. I don't know why Unity chose to do one over the other, but it's matching up. How do I actually implement that function? Okay, yeah, before I used to do like cross products because I was using angles, but now I use quaternions. And yeah, we do atan 2. Okay, so we convert. Okay, I see. So we take the quaternion and then we rotate a forward facing vector to get the facing direction after we when we use this quaternion. And then I calculate the angle for each of those by using the atan 2. And then we calculate the angle between using Unity's delta angle. So I guess Unity uses this function within the quaternions. So that's good to know. And then if it's positive, then it's clockwise. Okay, well, it's a bit of black magic, but it works. So I think... I'm trying to remember if... like why I got into doing this rotation stuff. Where's the map generation? Okay, I guess... oh, I know why. Probably because in the map doodad thing, our script, I was trying to figure out how I'd actually store a spawn rotation. Where is it? Oh, it's in the Lua interface. Yeah, so I don't have the spawn rotation yet. And there's no like offset because blocks don't rotate. So I get, yeah, we'll just need to have return a rotation 3D. Oh, yeah, just a quaternion. So we'll just copy this code. So if we're in the map generation phase, then it just sets the rotation. Why is that not? Cannot. Oh, yeah. So what happens here is that if we're in the map generation phase, then we check to make sure that this rotation 3D is not null, and if it is, then we set it here in the game data. But if we're not in the map generation phase, we don't want to allow setting of the spawn rotation because it doesn't actually make any sense. Okay, so I still gotta fill out this information. Okay, and I gotta do the randomness. Or did I already handle randomness? Oh yeah, I already have this random utilities. Okay. What is this? Use and map generation. Set up random seed. Have I not done that yet? I guess. I think I did, didn't I? Yeah, because the battle has this random number generation sequence and it's already set up. So I didn't take very good notes last stream. Okay, and then, oh yeah, I have this just as a dummy thing. It doesn't actually place inside a hexagon, it's more inside a circle. So I think this is done. And I guess I just forgot to click those. Because yeah, I remember setting up the random seed so it's saved in the save file and everything. Yeah, save file, compile. And then yeah, it starts from the, either we get it from the file or the lobby parameters. Okay. I should... Yeah, this little to-do thing is getting kind of big. Next time I start a sub-project, I should spin off its own little to-do list. I'll have to remember that because it's hard. Everything is separated here. It's hard for me to remember what... Or it's hard for me to see all the things I need to do. Okay, some idea of 3D rotations. So we did add support to doodads, and I guess that is all done now. Okay, so I think I just need to fill out the last... the last, gosh, I can't talk. These last little functions here. Okay, so the model name. Do I even have a reference to that? I have this game object, but that doesn't like store the actual name given by the mods. Do I need... Okay, well, how does the mod specify these little doodads actually? So yeah, I have this and it's the dirt boulder. So maybe it's not a model name, it should be the actual doodad name. Okay, so the prototype actually. Okay, so I don't have a doodad prototype object, do I? Okay. Yeah, and this should actually have a prototype. So I could be lazy and just place it in this file. That's probably the best thing to do because I'm starting to get a ton of files in here and I don't think I'm going to have very many more functions in these dealing with these map doodads. Okay, so again, this moon sharp, oops, I did the wrong tag. It should be user data. Okay, check in that. And this means that this class is registered to be usable inside Lua. And like always, I need to hide the constructors so that, because I don't want Lua to be able to create new instances of these classes. Okay, and I also need to provide the data link here, or the data index. Right, and now, okay, I need to also place or keep a cache of these objects in the Lua object registry. And I keep going back and forth about whether I like having all these lists inside this one object or if I want to separate them out. On one hand, I mean, this class is cohesive because it's all just about storing a bunch of classes or instances. But on the other hand, it's not cohesive because there's like a million different types in here. Yeah, I keep going back and forth on that. But again, that's just kind of theoretical. This works for now, so. Good. Doodad prototype. Okay, and let's see. And what this does is it just checks this prototype list, and if it contains an object for the specific ID, then it will return that. Otherwise, it will it will, sorry, my brain's not working this morning. It will just create a new one. Okay, so yeah, this is fine. I just had to rename a bunch of stuff. So I think the only thing I really have to have here is the name. Turn link, database, map. I just call it, yeah, doodad prototypes. Bot name. And, oh, it's already converted to uppercase, so I don't need to do anything else there. Okay, so this is not, we don't want to return a name here, we actually want to do a doodad prototype. And then we'll set that. Yeah, it creates a model. I guess we'll set that when we create the, yeah, this class, which I don't put anything in there right now. The proto ID is just the prototype. Oh, too many T's. Data index. I need to make this available just inside C#. So yeah, moon, sharp, hidden, and yeah, no setter. Okay, so get, we'll want to return. Oh, first, I guess I need to get my actual map doodad object. The game logic object. Oh no, it's not map objects. Okay, well, yeah, I guess I don't need to have a reference to the whole thing, I just need the prototype ID. And then I would return the link registry get doodad prototype. And that will just return this prototype object. Oh yeah. Wait, hasn't this song already played today? Oh well, that's pretty nice. Okay, and here we need to do something similar, except in order to get the map object, these don't hold a reference to the map object. The map object holds a reference to this, so I have to loop through everything. Let me look. How did I do that for the monster? I don't think I cached it, which might be a good idea, but... Okay, yeah, let's get a reference to this. Link, battle. So yeah, we go through each map object and we need to make sure that the type is a doodad and then its owner is our index. And if it's found, then we mark that. Okay. Okay, so then doodad has no existing map object. So I guess this is fine. I don't know. Yeah, this should never actually be thrown, but just in case. Because yeah, we create the map object up here when we actually create the new doodad, so. And the last thing we need to do is give it the parent block position. Okay, so does the doodad itself have a reference to that? Okay, it has a parent block, so we just need to convert this parent block index into a block ID or block position, which is easy to do. Okay, so block ID, and then just need to return link registry get board position. Okay, I can just do it like that. So that's really simple. Okay, so I think that's all I have to do here. Now right now the pebbles are perfect spheres, aren't they? So I was gonna see a way that we could test rotation. Well, they're flattened spheres, but if I rotate around Y, there'd be no obvious way to tell. So I guess I'll rotate them around X, even though it'll look weird, just to see that the rotation, our spawn rotation works. What am I looking for? Oh, map generation. So I want pebble spawn rotation equals rotation utilities. And I guess I don't have a function for this. Okay, so so I don't really have a way to represent an axis unless I just use a world position for that, which is kind of like a vector 3. Maybe I should rename it. Or I guess I could have a separate like axis object, but it's going to be kind of the same thing. But I think for now it might be good enough just to have some helper functions like around Y or around Z and around X. So angle, and we'll just return new rotation 3D, quaternion. Okay, and I always forget if it's angle axis or axis angle. Okay, angle axis. And so around X, we'd want vector 3 right. And I need to convert this to degrees because Lewis scripts we use radians. That's all for that. We'll do the same thing for the other two axes or axes. And then, as like I said, if I want to have a specific angle, we'll figure that, or a specific axis, I'll figure that out when we get to it. For now, I just want around X, and then random utilities. Okay, it's just called random. Next, real. And I guess I'll need to multiply this by 2 pi in order to go around the entire circle. Okay, object, oh yeah. Runtime exception, it cannot convert a string at 36. Oh, I bet it's because I don't use the new prototypes. Yeah, so I need to actually get the prototype here. Okay, Okay, so local dirt level proto is... Okay, I don't have a way to get that yet, do I? Okay, so I'll just use this database class. And get map doodad prototype. Okay, I need to make sure that I do change all references to block to map doodad, otherwise we'll have an issue. Okay. Oh, okay. I just spelled that kind of weird. Why is it wrong? Why is it mad at me? Oh, I returned the wrong thing. Okay, so we'll see if this works, and then I'll need to go get something to eat. I know we have a shorter stream today, but I just had to do some stuff this morning. I might come back later though, so we'll see. Still something's wrong. Did I not? Oh, first I didn't save this, and also I didn't finish writing the script. So database get map doodad prototype, and this is dirt pebble. And I just pass that through here. Now what? Cannot access. Okay, I must have spelled it wrong. Get map doodad prototype. Okay, well, it doesn't have to be capitalized. At line 33, am I? So it's saying it can't get this function even though it's right here. Okay, let me run again. Maybe it didn't compile or something? I don't know. Runtime exception. No map data prototype exists with the name Dirt Pebble. Well, that's not true. Oh, okay. That is true. I called it Dirt Boulder. Yeah, because it's not a pebble. It's... What I was trying to do is the... like the scale of this game is supposed to be like Godzilla monsters, so by calling that pebble, I was getting the scale all wrong. So I was trying to convert everything to use the word boulder, but I guess I didn't get far enough. Okay, still something wrong. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Dirt boulder. Cannot convert a void to a controller type system single at line 39. So it's either next real or around X is wrong. Or... Oh yeah, it must be real because it's trying to convert a void return type to system single, which is another word for float. Let me look. Oh, I want random utilities actually. Oh, I have to return a minimum and maximum. So if I want just between 0 and 1, well, I guess I was going to say, should I have a helper function for that? Okay, so now it worked. Oh yeah, and they all are rotated. Good to see. Okay, so one other thing I want to do is they're inside the ground, so I kind of want to move them up to the top of the hexagon. And I'm wondering if the game should just do that automatically, because I can't see any reason why you'd want a doodad to be inside the hexagon. Okay, this is interesting. How... I wonder if... plus operators will work, because I wanted to just have you be able to add together world objects. Or world positions, I mean. Okay, so what's the syntax for this? It's like public static world position, or it's like public static operator. Plus... Okay, is that wrong? Explicit. Oh, maybe the operator goes here. Not all code pass. Okay, so I got that syntax right. So really I just want to return a new world position that adds these two together. I think the easiest way to do that would be return to Lua units A to game units plus B to game units. Because all it says is just convert it to vector 3, add them, and then convert it back to a world position. And we don't cache these objects, so that's just fine. So what I want to do is plus position utils create world position. So we just want to go up by the height, the layer height, which I think I can just do it like this. Okay, I do have the layer height. So let's see if that works. I'm not sure if Moonsharp even supports operators. Oh, it does. And it worked perfectly. So now they're all on the surface. I guess the question is, if, like I said, do I want 0 to begin on the surface of the block or not? I think it makes sense that it would. But I don't really know how to encode that because without like having weird side effects. Well, okay, this is the spawn position relative, so we can just make the relative position be the top of the block. So where is that actually used? Okay, this is what I want. Oh, I already did do that, but I used the wrong axis. Okay, so that must have been something in the middle. I'm surprised I didn't notice they were all offset. Okay. Okay, well that's still nice that we have adding world positions now. Let's see if this works. Okay, so they're on the surface of the blocks now, and yeah, they're not getting offset in the Z direction because if they were, there'd be some in the grass terrain. So I think it's all fine. Yeah, this one's like on the border. It's not actually on the other hexagon, so I'm fine with that. Are there any under... Oops, I didn't want to do that. Any underground? It would be kind of hard to tell, but... Okay, so there's supposed to be 2 visible. It looks like one is underground, but I wonder if it's just because it's like supposed to spawn inside that hill, but we don't actually try to place it on the actual surface. Like it doesn't actually know about the hill. I think that's what's going on there. You can kind of see it right there. So it's not positioned wrong. It's just right now we don't take into account the margins, which is kind of a complicated problem, but I guess I'll have to see how we handle it. I might need to make it so that the spawn position relatives are relative to their spot on the surface of the terrain, so that way I can offset them based on the actual altitude. But we'll worry about that later. Okay, but I think that's a good stopping point, and next I think we'll finally be able to do some art, which I've been wanting to do forever. But yeah, this is... Well, I need to do the actual art, and then, I don't know, stick to the surface of blocks. I guess take margin and bump height into account, and we'll see. Well, I guess this is kind of important, so I'll probably do that. I'm just looking through to see if there's anything else. Did that, we did random, we did... Oh, I do need to do better random inside X function in the position utilities. Okay, so I think I'm good. But anyway, I need to go grab something to eat. And I might come back and stream something else later. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to work on today and how much time I'll have, but we'll see. But yeah, feel free to follow me here on Twitch or on Twitter to be notified. But at the latest, I'll be back tomorrow at noon and we'll continue working on this tactical lizard tamer and finally do some 3D modeling. I also have a YouTube channel where I upload all these videos if you'd like to catch up on any you missed, and finally a Discord server where you can chat with me throughout the day. I'd love to have you there or anywhere. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming by and watching, and sorry I was a little late. I had to do some errands, but tomorrow should be back to normal. And yeah, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.